Hey friends, you're watching this video, so I am going to assume that you have heard of Milestone PS Tools, or you are looking to manage Milestone with PowerShell, and you want to know how to get started. So a good place to start is on GitHub at Milestone Systems Inc. /PowerShell samples. I'll provide a link in the description, but this is a repository where myself and a few colleagues are going to keep some samples up to date and try to maintain some documentation. This is a module that is based on Milestone's MIP SDK, and it's to aid in automation and just to help speed up a lot of different tasks. So to get started, let's take a look at the prerequisites. There's a short list here. So first, the Milestone version. It supports the free version XProtect Essential Plus up to XProtect Corporate 2014 or newer. This does not work on the E-code products, the older platform based on XProtect Enterprise. So Essential, Professional, or Express. It has to be one of the Plus versions or Expert or Corporate. Okay, and then to run the module, you need to do it on a Windows desktop or server edition. It is not a PowerShell core based module, and so it will not run on Linux or Mac. .NET Framework 4.7, that's the version that is used in the MIP SDK, and PowerShell 5.1 or newer. If you are running Windows XP, Windows 7, or Server 2008, Server 2012, you may need to install Windows Management Framework 5.1. This is available from Microsoft, and it just upgrades the Windows Management Framework on the OS, including PowerShell, and it gets you to the version that is compatible with Milestone PS Tools. All right, so let's get started. Let's install the module. This assumes you are running PowerShell on a internet connected machine. Your Milestone VMS doesn't need to be on the internet, but the machine that you install the module on does. So let's open up PowerShell. And I'll make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay, and it's just install module Milestone PS Tools. And I'm going to supply the scope parameter here and current user. So what this does is it tells PowerShell to install the module to my Windows current user profile under my documents directory instead of installing it to program files for all users. If you're not running PowerShell as administrator, you should do scope current user. But if you're going to install the module as administrator and make it available to anyone on the computer, then you can omit that scope. And if we hit enter, I should get a prompt that the PS gallery is not trusted. There it is. So it says you are installing the module from an untrusted repository. By default, Microsoft doesn't trust their own PowerShell repository. So it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to install this module? I trust it, so I'm going to say yes. And what you'll see is it first downloads the MIP SDK Redist module. You can see it's almost 69 megabytes there. And that is the Milestone SDK that is used by Milestone PS Tools. And then it will download the about 8 meg Milestone PS Tools. So now the module is installed. And if we do get module list available and then filter it on Milestone PS Tools, we can see we have version 1.0.76 and it's there. So let's connect to a management server now. Connect-management server. And the first time you connect, you need to do accept EULA, and that is the end user license agreement the same agreement that is included in the redistributable MIP SDK. If you don't supply that, you'll get an error message and the EULA will pop up in a document, assuming you're running on a desktop or a server OS and not through a remote session. So get management server, accept EULA, and then we can supply some properties. So we have the server. Optionally, if it's not on port 80, you can supply the port. You can log in as a specific Windows or basic user. And if it's a basic user, you need to provide the basic user switch. So because I'm going to connect to our public demo site and my user account is a basic user there, then I will do the server address here, public demo, and credential. I'm going to tell PowerShell to ask me for a credential. And then I'm going to tell PowerShell that, or tell the commandlet that this is a basic user. And I'm connected. So I'm going to clear screen here, CLS, just to clean things up a bit. And then I'll do a get management server. So this returns an object from the Milestone SDK with all of the properties of the management server object for this site. And that's just a good way to confirm that you're connected. You can see which version the management server is here. You can also do, let's say I want to get a list of all of the cameras and their IDs. So one way to do that could be get hardware, which will, on its own, it'll just get all of the hardware from all of the recording servers. And then for each hardware device, we'll get any attached cameras. And then just to make the output look pretty, I'll do select name and enabled and the ID. There we go. So there's a lot of different things you can do in the module. Let's take a look at the commands that are available. So get command dash module MilestonePSTools. I'll scroll up here so you can see the list is a bit long. Some useful commands right out of the bat. Export hardware CSV can be very useful. Get camera report. That can generate a useful configuration report for all your enabled cameras. And then we have all of the add, get, set, remove commandlets. So let's do a camera report. So get camera report, and let's out grid view. So what this is going to do is it's going to generate a camera report, and each row of that report is going to be passed to the out grid view command, which gives us a nice little user interface that PowerShell gives us. So let's hit enter. And in just a moment, we should see a window pop up, and it'll start populating with cameras here. And I'll zoom in. So we have camera name, we have hardware name and ID, we have the driver and model, and we also have resolution for live and recorded streams, some of the recording settings, and the motion settings. So it's a fairly quick and easy to use report. And you can use the tools within PowerShell to send this to a CSV file that you can then archive for later or view in Excel. So it's a useful report for seeing if there's a discrepancy in some of the configurations or some of the properties of, say, resolution or the motion detection settings. It also provides the state column here, so you can see what the state is at the time the report was run. So you can see there's a camera or two that communication is stopped which is normal for those cameras, and everything else is responding. But if it was not responding, or if the license was missing or anything like that, you would see that information in the state column. And let's just take a quick look. We also have the ability to do an export. So start export. You could get a snapshot. So get, where is it? There it is. So get dash snapshot to get a JPEG of a particular camera. Get who is online. That's a quick way to get an idea of the users that are connected. It just takes a moment, and we can see we have a couple administrator accounts, an MTS account, demo account. You don't see my account because this report is going to give you mostly people who are connected to the event server at any given time. And MilestonePSTools does not connect to the event server unless you're running a command that requires that connection. All right, so I hope that I hope most of you are able to get started using the install-module commandlet. But if you are on a computer that is not connected to the internet, then you will need to install this manually, which isn't terribly hard, but there's a few steps. So let's take a look at that. If you go to PowerShellGallery.com and search for MilestonePSTools, you'll find it here. And if you go to the manual download section, you can download the raw nupkeg file, which is the nickname for the new package or NuGet package, which is the way that Microsoft distributes libraries and modules. There's two packages that you need. There's MilestonePSTools, and then there's the dependency. So if you go to package details and scroll down, you'll see MIP SDK Redist. So I'll open up that in another tab here. And you can see that information here. So if you go to manual download, download that as well. I already have them downloaded. So let's bring that over here. And I'll bring this window over here. So this is the installation directory where I want my modules installed. It's in my documents under Windows PowerShell and modules. If you don't have Windows PowerShell, then you can just create that folder and PowerShell will know where to look. So before I manually install these, I'm going to uninstall. So let's do uninstall module MilestonePSTools. And then I'll uninstall MIP SDK Redist as well. So just a side note while we're waiting, you can update a module as well using just update-module, assuming you have installed it in this way. Okay, so I have uninstalled those two modules, and you can see they are no longer in my Windows PowerShell folder here. And these are the nupkeg files that I downloaded. So the first thing, before you do anything, you've downloaded these from the internet, so Microsoft has tagged these as blocked. So if you right-click on both of these and uncheck or check the unblock box here. It says this file came from another computer and might be blocked to protect your computer. So let's unblock that and unblock this as well. If you don't do this, then when you extract these folder or these directories to your Windows PowerShell directory, PowerShell will not want to run anything unless you have very loose restrictions on your PowerShell environment. So we have these unblocked. Let's rename them with a zip extension. All these are zip files with some extra information in them for the NuGet package manager. So here is the MilestonePSTools module content. So I'm going to create a folder here for MilestonePSTools. And then within this folder, I'm going to make a folder for the version. So I know this is 1.0.76. And then I'm just going to copy everything over. I'll do the same thing for the MIP SDK Redist module. And this is version 20.1.0, so that's just to match the MIP SDK version that it's using. And I'll just copy everything over. So at this point, I have both modules installed. I should be able to use the module. So I'll open up Windows PowerShell. And let me do a get module list available Milestone PS Tools and MIP SDK Redist. And that should tell me the versions of those. So they are found. You might need to do a set execution policy to tell PowerShell to allow files to allow scripts to run. So if you do a get execution policy, and if that says restricted, then you'll probably want to do a set execution policy remote signed. And you'll need to do this as administrator unless you only want to change the policy for the current PowerShell session, for example. Double check with your system admin to make sure you have permission to do this, but this is a good compromise between usability and security, and this will allow you to run Windows, Milestone PS Tools. So I should have the module installed, so I can do connect, management server, and then public demo. Have it ask me for my credentials, and log in as a basic user. And I'm connected. So I think that's where we'll stop with this video. That gives you a general idea of how to get it installed, how to list the commands that are available to you. Use the get-help commandlet. So for example, get-help connect management server. And if you do -full, you'll get some detailed information with examples about the different commands. Now, I don't have this available right now for every command, but if you are not sure what to do with a particular command, check to see if there's content in that get-help. And that should help you get on your way. If you have any questions or issues or feature requests, please pop into the GitHub, which again, I'll put the link in the description, and post an issue. So issues can be feature requests, bugs, questions, whatever you need. Go ahead and post them there, and we'll be happy to take a look and help you out. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to your feedback.